Bonjour mes amis, hi guys. The main issue watch geeks have with quartz is the ticking seconds hands, but Bulova turned things around in the 60s with their Accutron and its perfectly smooth 262 Hz sweep. And here we have their modern and now discontinued Accutron 2, also known as the Snorkel reissue. It is rated at 200 meters of water resistance, but a card in the presentation box recommends not to take it for professional diving. So stick to snorkeling and timing your workouts with it. The sweeping orange seconds hand is the star of the show and a mesmerizing sight indeed. You would have to shell out thousands of dollars more to get the Grand Seiko Spring Drive equivalent, a technology that was only perfected some 30 years after Bulova's. Indeed, this watch cost me about $140. It is a refurbished piece, an unsold stock, sent back for cleaning and battery replacement to the manufacturer, and sold at a big discount on eBay. Apart from a couple of nicks, it is in great condition, so I do recommend this avenue for purchasing the watch at a low cost. My friend Chris, hi Chris, who is a big fan of these watches and this sort of design, alerted me to the price discount and I decided to give it a go, being myself a child of the 70s and still enjoying those bold design cues. It's a 42mm case, but as you can see the lugs are almost non-existent. The softly curved case helps making this squarish design hug the wrist elegantly compared to, say, the chunky Heuer Monaco chronographs, for example. Speaking of the case, I'm thoroughly impressed by the finish. To me, it's in the ballpark of entry luxury levels. The polished section is a proper mirror, while the brushed sections achieve an even satin finish. I really enjoy certain angles and do notice the more angular lug end sections that are another welcome design detail. Don't miss also the sharp recessed cutouts under both crowns. The eyes are also drawn to this domed crystal. I assume it to be mineral. A real vintage looking element of the watch with its classic distortion of the dial. Let's stay with the dial. The center and the chapter ring are both in what looks like identical charcoal color, but because of their juxtaposition, they never reflect the light with the same intensity at the same time, granting you with a constantly playful spectacle. The writing is kept to an elegant minimum. The date window is perfectly proportioned at 3 o'clock. The white wheel offers a nice balance with the inner bezel, and the font chosen is also a little unusual and pleasant to read. You have applied markers for the hours on the chapter ring that marry well with the hour and minute hands. These all have loom on it, but it has to be one of the weakest loom you'll ever see, unfortunately. The logo at 12 o'clock reigns supreme and is echoed on the back of the orange seconds hand. Notice how this hand reaches the outer ring as it should, and how its color echoes the 0 to 20 minutes portion of the striking inner bezel. It is operated by the upper crown, recessed enough not to be accidentally disturbed, but easy enough to turn all the same. The feel is sturdy and smooth. The bezel doesn't wobble around like it would on the Seiko Alpinist. Rather, it operates similarly or even better than the one on the Longines Legend Diver, for example. The inner bezel is at a slow angle, but seems almost glued to the crystal as you rotate the watch, which is a lovely effect. The lower crown, signed with the company logo, is a screwed down crown. Unscrewing it is very smooth, and putting it once will operate the date wheel with quick set, and twice will change the time. One issue with this movement is that setting the minute hand is really difficult. There is backlash in either direction, no matter if you bring the minutes up or down to the desired time. It's a trial and error thing, but once you get it right, you're pretty much good to go until the battery dies, since this movement is known to be deadly accurate. The battery has an approximate life of 1 year, during which you won't have to worry about winding or setting the time, except for daylight savings, of course. Turning the watch around, we see a flat case back with some basic information on it. The bracelet here is mesh, not really evenly stacked, but especially on this side here, but it evens out below, and it feels solid along with the deployant clasp. I had to remove almost all the links, so if your wrist is really thin, you might run into an issue here. My wrist is 17 centimeters of circumference for your reference. The links tend to form a tight angle when closing the clasp, as you can see here. But overall the fit is good, and the watch wears rather comfortably and can slide under a dress cuff with its 12 millimeters of thickness. So there you go. A couple of minor issues, but overall you get a great looking, original, finely tuned timepiece for an amazing price. I sure am pleased with this purchase. Buy yours while stocks last, as the line has vanished from the Bulova website, perhaps under the influence of their new owner's Citizen, for a reason I could not explain, as they are still producing a lot of really ugly watches. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll speak to you in the next one.